Hello!
Welcome to us talking about Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
Yes, there's going to be free-form discussion and conversation about Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
And the Sorcerer's
The
Stone.
Philosopher's Stone.
The Sorcerer's Stone.
Well, whose stone was it? Who did it belong to?
Well, it belonged to Nicholas Flamel and...
A famed philosopher.
Yes, it was a real person.
See?
It was in the history of magic.
And he's a philosopher.
And the
Hence his
sorcerer.
stone.
The Sorcerer's Stone.
No, he was famous. He was sort of like the Plato of magic people. The Socrates of magic people.
Yeah.
The Confucius of magic people. Confucius is... Did Confucius know magic?
I don't know. Sorcerer's Stone.
Philosophers. Anyway,
Anyways.
agree to disagree. Move on. I actually don't care, but it sparks conversation. Now then.
Now,
So this is the first one, of course.
we'll be talking about all the movies. Are we going to be talking about the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Part 2 separately?
Yes. If they, decide to act all desperate and get an extra movie out of it, we can act all desperate and get an extra video out of it.
Okay.
Fair is fair.
Yes.
Okay. So, this is, as we said, and obviously, you know this. If you're watching Harry Potter videos, you know it's the first one. You don't need us to tell you that.
Even also, if you read the title, it says Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
Exactly.
You
Philosopher's
disagree,
Stone.
But
But, this was my, I never read the book sort of thing. Oh, of course. You are a genuine Harry Potter fan. I'm just a, person on the periphery of Harry Potter fans because...
Is Dumbledore old?
Is he?
Anyways.
So, this was my first exposure to Harry Potter of any sort was watching this movie. I watched it many years ago, back around when it first came out, and I thought it was pretty good. Pretty good. I think the later movies are better. I think they improve as they go on.
Well, not a good second one.
The second one, here's the thing.
Dobby is kind of a nightmare.
He is. Having rewatched the second one, I actually like the second one more than the first one,
This is about the second
except
one.
for the Dobby factor.
This is not about...
No, I'm just mentioning in passing the overall flow of quality.
We will be talking about the second
We
one.
will go more in depth into the nightmare that is Dobby in the second one.
Well, he's my favorite character, but not
Not in the movie version.
not in the
Not in that one.
Chamber of Secrets.
Not in that one. But in general, I think it's a pretty good movie. I feel like it's missing a certain something.
What?
I just feel like directing, whatever you want to call it, could have been a little bit stronger. And I feel like that does improve later on when
I
they
do
get
feel
new
like
people.
the considering it was made in 2001, the Quidditch scene held out pretty fine.
The special effects are a mixed bag. It's never like a situation where they're like embarrassingly bad,
Except
like
for
some.
Mountain Show.
You think it's embarrassingly bad?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, again, he's a fully computer animated thing, so he's not amazing. He's not as good as he would be in a new movie, but I did think he was distractingly bad.
I think it was really bad.
But and here's the thing: I feel like even though the special effects haven't aged great, I feel like the production design is strong. Like I feel like the way that things look, like the artistry of the designs themselves are actually quite strong. Like the whole big chess scene, I thought all the way the pieces were designed are cool. Like the pawns, those weird little turtle guys unfolding. That's cool. I like those guys.
I still think the Quidditch scene was fine.
Okay. I feel like the Quidditch scene is a mixed bag as well. I feel like it's overall pretty good, but some of the blue screen looks weird, and also the real problem is whenever they switch to the CG version of a person, like when they go over to computer animated Harry, he's just jolting around like a rag doll, and he looks kind of horrifying.
What do you mean computer animated?
Oh, well, that's the thing. Some of the scenes have real people just on blue screens, but every once in a while, they'll actually switch a computer animated version of the actor, and I feel like when they do that, it looks very weird.
I didn't notice.
Good.
I wasn't.
It's very distracting. If you do notice it, it's horrifying, so it's good to not notice. I'm not bragging about noticing. I wish I did not notice. Yes. But, story-wise, I feel like it's fairly simplistic. I assume that J.K. Rowling planned from the beginning for it to be a series.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah. But you can tell that she was still kind of figuring things out, and it does... I feel like, to a certain degree, she was probably making things up as she went along. I feel certain things sort of feel that way.
It says in a Harry Potter Journey Through the History of Magic book, it says that before she even made the first one, she spent 5 years planning out 7 books.
Interesting.
That's a long time.
It is a long time. It is. I'm sure a lot changed as she actually got into the process of writing them. But, obviously she was still setting up a long thing, because she introduced Voldemort, but in this one, it's very clearly not, the final battle against Voldemort. It's just the final battle against the back of Quirrell's head, which is a little less final.
Yeah.
But, and one thing that I think is well done is sort of setting Snape up to be, seem all evil and diabolical, he's behind things, only for it to turn out nah, man, it was this other guy.
This random stuttering professor.
Exactly, who seems way less threatening. Especially, during the Quidditch scene, Snape seeming like he's reciting a curse, but it's no, he was on your side in that scene, Harry. He was on your side.
I think Hermione kind of overreacted,
setting a fire on the top of a elevated wooden structure full of people. Not a good idea.
Not very smart.
I know that Hermione is supposed to be smart, and she is smart in most regards, but in this instance,
come on.
that was... Is Hermione a sociopath? Asking the big questions. Okay. Also, what do you think of the Dumbledore actor in the first 2 movies compared to the later on one?
Well, he seems a lot older.
He does. It's one of those things where it's sort of, sad... Because going back and watching him, that unfortunately the actor will pass away fairly soon. And...
It does not do to dwell on dreams, Harry. I forget to live.
Yeah, so it's sort of thing where it's it feels kind of morbid and it's almost like you don't even want to think about that, but with the knowledge going back and watching that actor will pass away fairly soon, it kind of is weird because you kind of feel he seems like he's not doing great, especially in the second movie. I felt kind of bad for the guy, but again, would I felt that way if I didn't know he was going to pass away? It's hard to say, but I definitely feel like the second actor definitely feels like a stronger, more vital Dumbledore. But I do like the original actor. He's fine. He has a lot of dignity and wisdom to him. But I feel like I know Michael Gambon is the guy who plays him in the later movies, and I feel like I like him more overall. But definitely the first Dumbledore is still good. Weird.
Anyways.
Okay. Very weird. And how do you feel the performances were in general, especially among the younger actors?
I think Harry did fine, except for the weird part where in the middle of one random scene, his voice suddenly gets deeper. So it's hey guys, welcome to another...
Going through a voice change all of a sudden.
To another Minecraft video.
Yeah. Who do you think is the best actor out of the 3 main kids?
In the first one, Daniel Radcliffe.
I might agree with that. And that's it. But I feel like all 3 of them do pretty good, and it is a situation where child actors are infamously kind of bad. But I think that all the child actors in this one, and in this one they are young enough. I mean, they are full-on child actors.
Even Neville.
Yeah, I think they all actually do a good job. Draco as well. The only time I feel like Draco's actor maybe goes a little too broad is during that freak out scene where his face looks like a little kid making a wacky facial expression, as opposed to actual acting.
Dungeon, if everyone would please panic.
Yes. His face in that one, I feel, it really does seem like a little kid just making a wacky facial expression. But overall, he does good, and the other people all do good. And also, how do you feel the actors do, because they really did grow up with the series sort of thing. And so sometimes it is an awkward thing where you will hire somebody to play a role when they're little, and then they grow up to sort of be kind of maybe they aren't as good of an actor when they're old, or they just no longer really match the part as they grow up. But do you feel like that was ever an issue, or do you think that all the people suited their roles throughout?
Well, there was kind of an issue where the guy who played Crabbe, one of Draco's friends, kind of got arrested for some crime, and then they had to change actor. He wasn't in the 3rd movie, then he was in the 4th movie, then he vanished for the rest.
That's very strange. You run into issues like that with any long-running series. Sometimes people get arrested. Sometimes people pass away. It's very strange. Anytime
the first Fat Lady painting, I'm just saying because that's the name of the character, the actor died. And you can see that in the first one, it's some old lady who's come in. And then later she's like, oh!
My goodness.
That was a scene in the movie.
I think I've seen that scene, in fact. But yes, I feel like it's a good movie. It doesn't have any like major flaws, but I just feel like something about it just feels slightly mediocre. Like not in a, I don't mean that, and I generally mean mediocre. I don't mean that as like some underhand like, oh, it's bad way. Just there's a slight mediocrity to it where it's just like a bit more average than it could be. I feel like it doesn't really like soar as high as it could have, given that it has like, very successul subject matter. Yes.
I want to talk about a flying lesson.
By all means.
Well, come on, talk about it.
Okay. There was a flying lesson. What do you want to talk about? I don't remember much about that scene.
I don't understand why the special effects were so bad in that scene. They had
do you feel they stood out there?
On the broom, and it was just terrible.
If I had to guess, I'd say that maybe like the Quidditch scene, if you feel like the special effects were better during the Quidditch scene, well, that's like a huge standout moment. Like that's like very iconic. They probably put a lot more time and effort in making sure that scene looked good. While the flying lesson is fairly minor in the grand scheme of things. So maybe they felt like, rather than put the budget into that scene, they sort of diverted it elsewhere.
My class did a essay on that part.
Interesting.
I also don't understand why the flying teacher has yellow eyes, like cat eyes. I don't understand why they did.
It's a little weird, but
that wasn't in the book or anything.
Magic. But although on that subject of just sort of like some of the scenes not having as high of a budget, I mentioned earlier that like the chess scene I thought was cool, and I really like the design of all the pieces and the concept is just cool. But that is another scene where like you can kind of feel them cheap out. Like if you watch it, there's a few moments where like it's like the pieces smashing each other and it looks like cool and properly conveyed, but other times it's just like really cheesy montages of like explosions in the foreground of the statues, and the statues like sort of like just like, crumpling in really like cheap cheesy ways, and it's just like the whole scene is like a very good little microcosm of how mixed the budget was. Like you could really tell they put a lot of money into some scenes and much less money into other scenes. While I feel like with the later movies, it was a bit more consistent in that regard. Like they weren't, you didn't visibly see them cheap out as much, I think. Hi.
Hi.
The teddy bear needs to contribute something to the conversation.
Okay.
All right. On that note, are we done here?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, bye.